Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. We have an awesome event coming up today. It's always a blast when we can take a virtual field trip to Costa Rica and visit the Toucan Rescue Ranch, where they are working 24 hours a day to protect, to rescue, and to rehabilitate native Costa Rican wildlife. So we've got a great group of classrooms joining us from across North America today. We're really excited for all your questions when the time comes. Don't forget, if you're tuning in on YouTube, to put your questions, introduce yourself in the chat. We definitely want to make sure that you're included there. But for now, I'm going to introduce Isaac, who's joining us today, and is going to show us around a little bit and, of course, introduce us to the sloths. So here we go. Hey, Isaac, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty fine. What about you, Joe?
Good, good. It's so good to have you joining us today. We're so excited for another trip to the Toucan Rescue Ranch.
All right, that's great. Yeah.
So I'm going to let you take over for a little bit.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, well, as Joe said, my name is Isaac. I'm going to be the guide that is going to take you and show you the animals that we have here at the rescue center. So yeah, here I'm in the Toucan Rescue Ranch. As I said, we are a rescue center and a wildlife sanctuary. We're two different things, so there's a difference. As a rescue center, we basically focus on rescue, rehabilitate, and rewild animals with special conditions, such as injuries or animals that has been kept as pets. That depends on humans mostly. And well, the rewilding part is always as long as the conditions of the animals allows it, right? Sadly, sometimes we can't rewild an animal for some reason. For example, a bird that is not able to fly, or an animal that depends way too much on humans. In those cases, we will provide them with our sanctuary. So yeah, the focus as a sanctuary is to give the animals the best quality of life, to give the animals that can be wild the best quality of life. And well, Toucan Rescue Ranch, of course, that name is because we specialize working with toucans, but it's not the only animal that we work with. So we started in the year 2004 working with toucans and some other birds. Yeah, the thing is that in Costa Rica there were like really great programs, conservation for macaws and other birds, but not so much for toucans. So Leslie, the founder, Leslie Howe, she researched how to operate a rescue facility. And yeah, she started Toucan Rescue Ranch in the year 2004 at her own property. She literally lives inside this place. And then in the year 2007, Millie, the first sloth, arrived here, first sloth and first mammal. And yeah, she changed everything here. So after Millie, we specialized working with sloths and some other mammals. She gave us more work to do, but we couldn't be more happy. And yeah, so today the plan is to spend some time with the sloths. And I'm going to start with the baby sloths. All right. And yeah, I'm going to switch the camera now. Sec. Oh, let me see. How can I switch it? Okay, sorry. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to switch the camera and to show you the animals. One sec.
Isaac, did the camera not turn around for you? There should be a button you can push to switch the camera view.
All right, so let me see. I have the mic, cam, settings, chat, and leave. I'm trying to see if right, just one sec.
Okay, if it's not letting you switch, Isaac, maybe we can just, if we can't use front and back,
all right,
we can just try and just turn the camera manually if it's not working for us.
Okay. Yeah.
But there should be, when you under camera, there should be an option for the front or the back camera. I think we've done it before.
Oh, I think I saw it. No. Sec. So no, I think I'm going to use the front camera, but there's no problem. Just a sec.
Yeah, sorry it's not cooperating today.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so yeah, that's okay. All right, just a sec, and yeah, okay. So here we have Pringle and Tabitha, two babies, two fingered. Two fingers sloth is the name of this species. So in Costa Rica we have two different species: the two fingered and three fingers. And well, oh, sorry, there it is. Oh, just one sec to okay, there you have them. So yeah, in English it also received the name two-toed or three-toed, but honestly I'm not really a fan of those names because the difference is always in the number of fingers on their hands. So all these species of sloths share the characteristic of having three toes or three digits on their feet. And yeah, so right now I'm in the Sloth Elementary. We have this program called Saving Sloths Together that it's with the Sloth Institute. And yeah, basically here we have orphan baby sloths that we raise and rehabilitate with the aim of returning them back to the wild when they're strong and independent enough. To accomplish that, here we expose these babies to natural conditions such as wood, vines, leaves, hanging bed, etc. And there's like different stages. Each baby that arrives here has to go through 5 stages before being rewild. Those stages are preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, and then finally college. So we take education pretty serious around here, and yeah, so we give like a different focus on each stage. So the babies that are newborns to 3 months old, they start on preschool. Sorry, yeah, on preschool, and the focus is just on growing and drinking their milk. So sloths, they're lactose intolerant animals. We can't give them cow's milk. That's why we provide them with goat's milk that contains like a terrible amount of lactose for these little guys. So when they have ages between 3 months to 6 months old, they continue on elementary school. And the focus is just on growing and drinking their milk and getting more practice at climbing and becoming a little bit more independent. So actually, these ones are in elementary school right now. As you can see, this little guy here is learning how to climb. So when the babies are between 6 months old to 1 year old, they continue the program in middle school and solids make up most of their diet at this point. And they also continue getting more practice in climbing, becoming more independent, and becoming more nocturnal. You might see sloths awake during day, but they're definitely more active during night. So, yeah, these ones are nocturnal animals. Then, when they're in high school, is when they have ages between 1 year to 1 year and a half, and we move them to the classroom enclosure. That is an enclosure where they will spend more time outside. That's why the focus is on winning up completely of milk. And finally, the big day when they break our hearts but make us feel so proud at the same time when they're ready to go to college. So right now I'm at the headquarters, but we have another property that is the release site. So at the release site, this is where we take the animals that are good candidates to be rewild. And yeah, we will take the babies that are in college to the release site. So there we will put them inside the pre-release enclosure. That is the enclosure where they will spend all day, all night outside with the weather, with environmental changes, total independence in the wild, basically. And yeah, after this whole process that takes up to 2 years, they graduate, get their diploma, and are ready to start a new life back in the trees. So yeah, uh, when they're in the pre-release enclosure, there's like a door, like a gate, that we open, and the sloth will get out of the enclosure whenever he wants. And that's what we call a soft release. And yeah, the sloth will get out of the enclosure and will stay near the facilities of the release site. So we pay attention to that sloth. If it's doing well, we will take it and do what it's called a hard release. So basically, we will lost this sloth really deep in the forest. And yeah, that is like the completely successful release. Right. I don't know. Do you have any questions?
I'm sure we have a few. I'm going to grab one here from the chat that came in already from Miss Kirk's class. They're grade 5s in Ottawa, and they're wondering, why are the baby sloths in a bucket?
All right. So, first of all, we avoid to handle them directly because we don't want them to get used to people. As well, in the wild, they will sleep like in the places where all the branches gather together and forms like this natural hammock. And yeah, the bucket simulates that natural hammock basically.
Let's take a
All
minute
right.
and meet some of our camera classrooms and see if they have a few questions for us before we jump to something else. So I'm going to start off with, we're going to go to Freehold, New Jersey. We have some third graders hanging out with us. Let's see if they have a question about the sloths to get us started. Hey, third graders, how are we doing today?
We're good, thank you. We do have a question right here. Come on up.
Why do sloths move so slow?
All right. That is a great question. So sloths, they are folivorous. This means that they eat mostly foliage, mostly leaves. As you can see, he will give Pringle some leaves. That's an advantage because where they live in the tropical rainforest, there are leaves everywhere, so they're never going to run out of food. But it has its downsides. So leaves, nutritionally speaking, are kind of like worthless. There's no nutrition. There's not too much nutritional value in leaves, and there's definitely not energy. There's no calories. So calories is like the main source of energy for these animals. And since there's no calories in their diet, they need to keep to save the little amount of calories as they have, and that's why they move slow. So yeah, it's not that they move slow by nature. I mean, yeah, but they also can be fast, pretty fast if they want to. So definitely an assault can surprise you.
All right, very cool. Let's grab another classroom here. This time we're going to go, let's see. We have a group hanging out, fourth graders hanging out with us in Arizona. Let me bring them in live to the call. How are we doing today, fourth graders? If you're able to unmute for me, we'd love to steal a question. There they are.
Yeah.
Hey, fourth graders.
All right, Jackson, come on up. You gotta come up here so he can hear you. Here we go.
All right.
What's your question?
Do sloths have any defense mechanism?
All right, that is a really great question. And I know they're really cute and adorable and everything, but believe me, assaults can be really aggressive. To be honest, I don't want to be near an angry assault. They have several defense mechanisms. For example, their claws. Those things are quite dangerous for humans and different animals. As well, this species, the two-finger sloth, they have canines, and that's really weird because those type of teeth, um, only carnivores has those type of teeth, those canines, and sloths, they're not carnivores. So the only reason why they have those teeth is to defend themselves. And believe me, an sloth bite, it's really nasty, it's pretty ugly, and it can get infected as well. So a quick story, Leslie, the founder, She almost lost one of her arms due to an sloth bite, and it was a baby who bit her. So yeah, the doctors at the hospital told her that if she would wait one more day, she would lose her arm due to the infection. Luckily, that didn't happen. But yeah, as well, they're quite strong animals. You know that they live in trees, the pulling strings, they have it really developed. And if they grab you pretty well, and if they have the chance, they can like break someone's arm, for example, or something like that. So you can picture how aggressive an sloth can be. When we receive a wild sloth that needs to be treated in the clinic, it requires 5 people to hold it. A person for a limb, and the fifth person will be holding the head. So yeah, they have several defense mechanisms and can be real aggressive.
All right. They may look slow, but they can definitely defend themselves, which is a good thing to be able to do. Very cool. We've got some senior kindergartens joining us here in Canada, in Ontario. How are we doing, SKs? Oh, that for us? Can't hear you.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm going to ask Kian. Go ahead, Kian.
Why do sloths climb trees?
Why do sloths climb trees? Great question as well. So they adapted to live in trees because there is where they're safe. There's not too much predators on trees, and it's also where they can find their food basically. So yeah, they don't need to descend to the ground too much. Actually, there's just one activity that they do on the ground. So they descend to the ground to poop, to go to the bathroom. That's the only thing they do there, and no one knows why. Actually, this is another pretty weird thing about sloths. There are several hypotheses, but yeah, no one is sure why they do that on the ground. They spend most of the rest of their life in treetops, where they even mate and give birth.
All right.
Right?
Yeah, very cool. I mean, it's really interesting how they live their whole lives in the trees, but they come down to go to the bathroom. It's a very interesting choice. Okay.
Yep.
Isaac, are any of the older sloths out today?
All right, I can check that.
Perfect. Maybe while you head that way, we'll do a few more questions while you're transitioning. So I'm going to bring in.
For sure, yeah.
We have a class joining us with Miss Michael, 4th graders in Glenview, Illinois. Let me bring them front and center. There they are. Hey, 4B.
Hi. Question:
Hey.
on average, how long does it take them to become fully independent?
How long? What? Sorry.
How long does it take them to become fully independent?
All right. Awesome question. So in the wild, around 1 year to 1 year and a half, the mom is who starts leaving the baby alone until she completely abandons the baby, and then the baby starts living alone and growing up and being independent. Right?
All right, and let's squeeze in one more before we see the next group. We have Miss Parrish's group joining us in Petrolia in Canada. Lots of, no, this is a grade 6-7 class today. Let me bring them front and center. Hey, 6-7s, how are we doing?
Good. We've got a few outside from us, but we're doing great. What are the biggest threats to sloth in your area?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
What are the biggest threats to the sloths in your area?
All right, great. So there's not a lot of them. Actually, well, natural threats, there's not a lot. The main predator will be the harpy eagle. That is like the only one that has access to treetops where sloths live. There are some other predators, but they live on the ground. In Costa Rica, we sadly don't have any more harpy eagles. They got extincted, but in some other countries, you can find them, and yeah, that's like their main predator. But there are some other threats. For example, car accidents, dogs attacks, and in Costa Rica, we have these power lines. and sadly we receive a lot of sloths due to electrocution. So I'm going to take advantage that you asked that to show you this. So here we have like a power line, and we're working with the electrical company here in Heredia province to make up some devices like these ones. As you can see, this roll and it's made of plastic. So it's just to avoid predators to continue walking on the power lines. We have tested it a couple of times with some sloths and it's working. They come here and they can't continue because of this and this. So yeah, we're working together with some other companies to help sloths and to diminish these threats for them. All right.
All right. Well,
Okay.
let's see. Are you close to some more of the crew for us to meet? Can you still hear me okay, Isaac?
Sorry, pardon?
Oh, just checking to see if you can still hear me okay.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As you make your way to the next section, how many sloths right now are at the center?
All right. So babies, we have like 9. We have a lot of babies. Leslie's being like crazy lately. And well, we have like 3 in the clinic and 6 permanent residents. 6 sloths that sadly can't be rewilded for some reason. Right?
Okay.
Okay. And well, I'm actually here with the permanent residents, the adult. So yeah, I'm going to show you. So this one is Millie. Millie is the one that I told you about, the first sloth and first mammal to arrive here. So yeah, she changed everything here. She's the Sleepy Beauty, I call her. And well, so Millie was like found on the ground. We don't know a lot about her story actually. Just the wildlife police, they came and gave Millie to Leslie. So Leslie, she always tells that she was with this huge kennel expecting an adult sloth. But when Millie arrived, she was just 3 weeks old. So she was a baby, super tiny, this little and cute ball of fur. And when the wildlife police gave Millie to Leslie, they told her to not get too attached because orphan baby sloths were destined to die. That was like the belief due to the few information that we had at the time. But as you can see, Millie proved them wrong. And actually, the name Millie is short for milagro. Milagro, it's Spanish for miracle. So that's what Millie is. She is a miracle. It was a miracle that she survived. And well, here is she, 15 years later, still with us. And not sure for how many years. We expect to have her a lot. So actually, no one knows how long sloths can live. The book says that they can live between 25 to 30 years. But first of all, I don't believe that someone has followed an entire sloth life. And secondly, the oldest living sloth is one that lives in Germany. And it was 50 in the 2020. That is when it broke the record Guinness. So yeah, it should be 52 this year. And well, here with the permanent residents, let me try to see if there's some others. Okay. As I told you, they're nocturnal animals. So in this enclosure, we have Stevie. One sec. Stevie, she is another 2-finger sloth, another permanent resident. So she belonged to the Saving Sloths Together program, the one that I told you about, where they go through high school, preschool, all those stages. And she arrived here as a baby, belonging to that program. But sadly, she failed college. She got rewild, but we found her a couple of times on the ground, and she was like losing weight. So yeah, we decided to bring her back here because it was like the best at the moment. And yeah, now she's a permanent resident. And well, it seems that sloths are sleeping right now, so they can sleep around 10 to 15 hours per day. It's not too much, actually. I've slept more than 10 hours more than once in my life. I'm not gonna judge them. Uh, but yeah, there are nocturnals, as I said, and that's why they're sleeping right now. As you can see, we provide them with blankets as well. Sloths, they're terrible regulating their body temperature. As I said, their diet doesn't have too much energy, and they need to save that energy. So sloths, they're bad regulating their body temperature because to regulate their temperature, they will have to spend energy. And yeah, that's a luxury for sloths. That's why we provide them with blankets to make this easier. All right. And well, I don't know if you have any more questions about sloths or if you want me to continue with other animals.
Yeah, I have no question or no doubt that there's some more questions out there. So I'm going to bring in some of our camera classrooms again
Sure.
and see if they have some questions. So let's swing back to our New Jersey crew and see if they have another one.
We do. She's coming.
Awesome.
Are sloths social or solitary?
All right. So sloths are solitary animals. That's why we have just one per enclosure. So, well, it's kind of like a big enclosure, but it has a fence in the middle. It's divided. And yeah, we have like a female in one side and a male in another one. We do this because if we put like two males, they will fight through the fence. So yeah, we don't want that. But yeah, solitary, even in the wild. Right? And well, I don't know. Is there any more questions?
All right. Let's grab another quick question here. Let's go to Miss Parrish's 6'7" and see if they have another question for us. Let's bring them up front and center.
Right.
Right. Are the sloths soft? And is it typical that as they age, like us, they start to turn gray?
Okay, so they have like just one coloration since they burn to the rest of their life, but the coloration changes a lot between individuals. There are some darker sloths and lighter, of course. And well, in the case of these ones, the two-fingered, they always the coloration. It's kind of like a clay color and like brown and clay. In the case of the three-fingered sloth, is more gray. And well, so I've never touched an sloth directly, but we have some fur in a jar. Sometimes when we receive an sloth in needs to be treated in the clinic, we need to shave a little bit of the part that it's injured to treat it. And well, I have touched that fur, that hair, and sometimes it's quite soft, and sometimes it's more wiry. So in the wild, there's like a lot of algae and other animals that lives in their fur. As they have more algae, it's more like wiry their fur. And in the case of the three finger, they have two layers of fur. There's the external one that usually is more wiry, and the internal one which is softer. So as I said, I've never touched an sloth, but the sloth rehabilitators here, they told me that it's to touch kind of like a husky, the dog. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to our kindergarten crew. I bet you they have another question for sure. Let's bring them up. There they are.
Okay, we're going to ask Hugh. Hugh, what is your question?
Why do sloths eat?
Why do they eat? Why do they eat? Do you mean the flowers? Well, we all know why people eat, but was it the flowers when you saw them eating the flowers, maybe? Oh, voila. Okay, so why do they eat that type of flower?
All right. So because well, it's more nutritional than leaves, than just leaves. It has a little bit more calories. This type of flower. This is hibiscus, by the way, and yeah, it's kind of like the special treat that we give them. It's like the equivalent of chocolate. Sloths love this. Um, and yeah, it's something good for their diet, and that's why they eat it.
All right. Well, we can definitely see that they enjoy it. When you put that in the cage, the sloth perked up right away. Was excited
Yep.
to have that little treat. Very cool. Before we go to another camera classroom, let's see. Mr. Shattuck's class is joining us virtually. They're from Chalk River. And they would like this. Here's a question from Kaylee. Kaylee wants to know about the nose of the sloth. Why do they have that really, those two-fingered sloths have that really, kind of almost looks like a pig snout?
Hmm. So yeah, I love that piggy snout that they have. So sloths, as I said, are nocturnal. Therefore, they don't need like an extremely good eyesight, and yeah, their eyesight is really bad. But what they do have that is amazing is their sense of smell. So sloths that have that nose, because helps them to increase like their sense of smell, and they're really good at it. I mean, we have been able to rewild completely blind sloths, and there's no problem because they just need, as I said, their sense of smell. So that's why they have uh that piggy nose.
All right. That's pretty impressive. They can be, rewilded when they're blind, but that sense of smell is just so good, so strong that they can still get by just fine. That's pretty incredible. Let's go to our Arizona crew and see if they have another question for us. There they are.
How big could a sloth get?
All right. So it really depends. That's actually pretty interesting. That there's no like an average, and there's not an average size or weight. So for example, the biggest sloth that we have here is it weighs 7 kilos to 100 grams. But yeah, as I said, that really depends um, between individuals. So yeah, they can get even bigger, but not too much than 7 kilos. They could be like around 8, 9 kilos. And this is after they poop, after they go to the bathroom, because they have this really slow metabolism and it takes up to a week to digest just one meal. So sometimes they have like a lot of food in their stomach, and of course they weigh even more.
All right. So 7 to 8 kilos, so up close to 20 pounds. That's pretty cool. And then some students, I think, will be surprised to know that there's species of sloth that have gone extinct that are bigger than they would have been, bigger than people, which I think is pretty cool.
So yeah, there were these gigantic sloths that used to live on the ground, and yeah, they evolved to adapt and to have like a more arboreal lifestyle. So as I mentioned, the sloths, they descend to the ground just to go to the bathroom. And there's a hypothesis related to the Asian sloths, these gigantic sloths. So actually, it's a hypothesis that a Costa Rican biologist published in March of the 2020. So he says that sloths, as they were evolving, they adapt this arboreal lifestyle, but they didn't have to change the habit of defecating on the ground because there was no need to. The theory says that the sloths are more vulnerable on the ground, but the reality is that attacks to sloths on the ground aren't that common. So yeah, this biologist says that sloths, they didn't have to fix something that wasn't broken, and he says that's why they keep doing that.
All right, fair enough. Let's go back to our grade 4s in Illinois. Let's see if they have another question for us. You guys have a question, Miss Michael's crew?
Okay, that's Penny. Go on up.
What do you do with the sloths when weather is bad? When weather is bad?
All right. When weather is bad,
Go on up.
So-
Go on up again.
let me show
Penny,
you
just be louder.
the enclosure.
What do you do with the sloths when weather is bad?
When the weather is bad. All right. Let me show you the enclosure. So as you can see, there's a roof. And yeah, if there's like a lot of rain, there's no problem for them because yeah, they're under a roof and they're here in their buckets with blankets. So they're pretty well. But as well, let me show you, there's like a part of the enclosure that has no roof. And this is because if we want to give the opportunity to the sloth that if the sloth wants to get wet, well, he can, but it's not something that they really enjoy. So yeah, luckily there's not too much problem with weather here as well.
All right. Well, Isaac, we still have a few more minutes. Can we visit maybe one more spot? What's close by that we could check out before we go today?
All right, sure. So maybe we can check out some toucans.
Sounds good to me.
All right, great. So yeah, just one sec. You go there. And yeah, as I said, the name is Toucan Rescue Ranch because we started working with toucans, and of course we have a lot of them. So yeah, we have 6 species in the country, 4 of them here at the ranch. And I think you might hear of toucans because of their large beak. But that beak, despite being large, is quite light. So it's made of keratin. Keratin is a protein that you can find in fingernails, in hair, in animals' hubs. And yeah, that makes the beak lighter. And that's an advantage because it allows them not to hinder their flight. And let me show you where he is. Okay. There he is. So that's Mango. Mango is a rainbow-billed toucan. Sorry, I'm going to try to focus. So yeah, rainbow-billed toucan. The name, as you can see, it's pretty obvious. Mango is quite colorful animal, and this is because he's healthy. So we receive a lot of toucans because people keep them as pets, despite it's illegal to do. Happens sometimes, sadly. And yeah, most of the times when they arrive because of this, they tend to arrive very malnourished. And that's something that we can tell just by looking at their color, the color they acquire. They acquire like much duller and opaque colors. And it's because of the poor nutrition that they get. So toucans, they do have a preference for fruits, but they are omnivorous animals. So they will also eat like insects, amphibians, reptiles, smaller birds, smaller mammals, eggs, hatchlings, almost everything that fits in their bill. And yeah, that's a lot. So yeah, they need a source of protein. Here we feed them with chicken eggs and some fruit like papaya. So yeah, boiled eggs, we chop them and we mix them with some fruit like papaya. It's a weird meal, but they love it.
All right, very cool. Well, let's see if we have a couple questions to wrap up, maybe about the toucans. So if you're in your classroom, you have a question about the toucans, give me a big wave, and I'll come to your class and we'll give you a question. So let's start off with our group in Illinois. I see some waving.
Okay, come on, Ben. Okay, Ben, come on over.
What?
Question about the toucans.
How many toucans do you have where you're at right now?
All right, so we have like 15 toucans. So sorry for being quiet, I was counting. We have like 15 toucans that are permanent residents. And yeah, as I said, we have 4 different species. In Costa Rica, we have 6 species. And in America, that is the only continent where you can see toucans. There are more than 50 species. Right?
All right. Give me a wave in your classroom if you have a question. Okay, New Jersey.
Jaden also has a question.
Why are toucans so colorful?
All right. So yeah, that's a really great question as well. Their color helps them sometimes to blend in the environment. And yeah, they have those colors as well because of their nutrition. As I said, they acquire like different uh, things that gives them that color. So yeah, that's why they are so colorful and they have those colors. Yeah.
Okay. Our kindergartens, I think I see some waving in our kindergarten crew.
Stevie? Stevie, what is your question? But I think we already, did we not answer that already? The what do we eat? They didn't answer that? Okay. Well, flowers, yeah. Okay, so that's your question. What do they eat?
What do they eat? All right. So yeah, toucans, they love to eat some fruit like, well, mango. His name is Mango. Of course, he loves to eat mango. He also eats papaya and yeah, some other fruits that we have here in the tropical rainforest. But also they can eat insects, amphibians like small frogs or reptiles like lizards, and they can even eat smaller birds and smaller mammals like a mice. They can even eat a mice. So yeah, that's pretty crazy.
All right. And Arizona, I can't leave you out waving so nicely. Who's got a question for us there?
Why are toucans' beaks so long?
All right, awesome question. So it helps them for different things. With food related things, it's always useful, right? It helps them to reach for food that will be unreachable for the species of birds. For example, they like to look for food inside holes, inside trees. But it also has been proven that it's a highly efficient thermoregulation system. It helps them to cool down when they're overheat. This is because inside there's like a flow of blood that helps them to distribute better the heat. So actually, it's quite similar to the function of a radiator from a car. Right?
And we're going to take one more question from YouTube here. Colton in grade 6 would like to know, are their beaks really strong? Like, could they crack down really hard on like a nut or maybe a finger if you put your finger in there, which please don't do.
Okay, no. But no, actually, their beak, as I said, is made of keratin. So it's quite light and it's not really strong. I mean, it's not weak, but they wouldn't be able to crack a nut or a finger, thankfully. But still, we need to keep our distance with toucans. But yeah, it is not like really strong.
All right, fair enough. Well, I want to start off with a huge shout out to the classrooms on YouTube today. Thank you for sending in so many great questions. A big shout out to our camera classrooms. As always, it's so great to see you joining us. We have a few have their cameras still on. I'm going to pop them in so they can give a big wave here so we can say hey to some of them. There's our Illinois group. There's our New Jersey group. There's our Arizona group coming back on.
Okay.
There they are. All right. So good to see everybody as always. And Isaac, to you and the whole team at Toucan Rescue Ranch, we love visiting each month. Thank you so much for the important work you do. Actually, there's our kindergartens, and we put them on so they can wave too. We don't want to leave them out. Thanks, kindergarten. Yeah, a big shout out to everybody for joining us today. And Isaac, thank you so much for bringing the Toucan Rescue Ranch live to all of these great faces. We're still hanging around, so let's bring them in again. Thank you so much for today. It was a lot of fun.
Well, Right, no, thank you, Joe, and all the team of Explore by the Seat of Your Pants. So yeah, actually these tours are highly important for us because we focus a lot on the environmental education here in the country. Kids are the future, and yeah, it's really important for us to talk about these topics.
Yep, absolutely. And we should mention before we sign off that you guys are powered by donations that come in virtually, by people when they're in Costa Rica who come out and visit the facilities. So that makes all that work possible. So just something to think about for those students. Sometimes we have students who do little bake sales and things like that in their classrooms. Or you might want to bring mom and dad to check out the website later. But it's great work being done. And the evidence is there by the sloths you've brought all the way from preschool to college and released back into the wild. It's so awesome.
So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, that's true. All the work that we do here is done thanks to donations. So yeah, thanks to people that helped us to keep helping these animals, basically.
All right. Well, until next time, we're going to sign off for today. But again, thank you so much for another great trip to
It was
Costa
a
Rica.
pleasure. Thank you. Bye.